Well, May 9th is when it all started, where we took a contractor's work van and slowly transformed it to a Scandinavian-style tiny home on wheels. From laying the subfloor to insulating the sheet spool right down to handmade cabinets, we have done everything to get it to where it is now. After a huge push this last week, we are so close to being done, and in this episode we go over some of the smaller details that really bring the home to life. Happy Friday, friends, man. What a wild week or a few days of van building it was. Basically, these past 2 nights, my dad and I have been out here like till 11 o'clock just doing as much as we possibly can. And I'm pretty amazed at how far we got, just how much stuff we kept slowly getting done and really wrapping up the whole build. We basically have everything done other than laying the floor. So I really just want to update you guys on some of the things we did do over these past few days and just kind of show you guys some of these small little details that I think are completely custom and just really bring the van together. I mentioned this in the last episode of the switch panel here, and you can see that we got this switch panel mounted. Here's my inverter, and here is the switch panel that we made. I think it came out really sharp. It almost makes it look like it's a legit RV. What we basically did was cut like a big hole in this 1/4 inch plywood behind, and then mounted this plate that has 5 switches here. And this is gonna be all of my auxiliary things. My fridge, my water pump, my WeBoost cell receiver, and then my front and rear DC outlet. So that way, if I'm ever going away somewhere and I want to just kill the power to the fridge, or if it's the winter time and I want to shut off my water pump so I don't freeze the water, things like that, I have the ability to shut everything off and kill the power right here and not have to go into the electrical and pull a fuse or something like that. So that was my idea between that bottom switch plate, and then the top 4 switches are going to be the switches you use basically every day, which is your kitchen lights, your bedroom lights, the garage lights, and also the floodlights on the outside of the van. I also very briefly went over the table in the last video and just kind of showed you guys like the table itself and not really like too much on how it works. So basically underneath here, which is where my mattress is going to be, sits this 1x2 piece of hickory right here. I also mounted this, it's just a bungee cord actually, one of those really small ones, but again completely out of the way when you're not using it. This just kind of comes over here. You put the 1x2 piece of hickory or whatever you want in there, and then there's a little like indent that we made, which we put in the finished floor. That goes in there, and now that acts as basically your table support, just like that. So with it being down there, it can't pop out, and then because it's bungeed here, it's not just gonna kind of fall over. And then all this literally is a gate latch. You can see I would literally just pull this up, and then the table gets released, and the table sits right on that piece of hickory right there, and that's it. It's very secure, very stable. I actually had one of my friends, Scott Dudek, he asked a really good question, was can this essentially come loose or come free when you're on a really bumpy dirt road? And the short answer is no, because basically these gate latches have like a locking ability. So just like this little hole here, it's kind of hard to see because it's all black. There you go, you can kind of see it there. You could put a carabiner in there, and that way this cannot lift up at all. Again, it's an oak table, completely made out of oak. Basically, we just cut 5 sheets of it, glued it together, and then used oak strips on the back to actually really secure it all to itself. So honestly, pretty simple design, pretty easy design, but I think it looks super beautiful. And the more I look at this van, the more and more I'm happy with the oak and the birch and the white sort of look that's going on here. It's very natural and just very cozy, and it's not even like decorated yet or anything. I don't want this vlog to be super long or anything because it's literally just going to be me talking. But another very exciting thing when it comes to building the van or building this van is that we actually have propane working and we are able to cook. I basically just ran the propane line down underneath there, through the sink, and then you can see this big tank right here. We made this mount for it to sit on, and that's secured right into the floor braces, so it should be pretty sturdy. and I just got to make sure I keep it accessible so I can turn on and off the gas like so. It's really no secret, but when you turn the gas off at the actual tank first and keep your burners on, it really just ensures that there's absolutely no propane in the line or anything that can leak. Because now you can see my stove is actually still on, but there's no flame going on because I turned the propane off first. So that way you can just be extra safe that there's no propane kind of leaking out or stored somewhere even though it's off. Now some of these smaller details that would largely go unnoticed I want to share with you guys, because I think that's just what's really making this van kind of just stand out and just shows the extra mile that we've been going through to make this van extra beautiful. And that's these little oak plugs right here. You can't even see them, but if you remember, these oak pieces here that's over the wheel wells were not ever really secured down until now. And basically what we decided, rather than having screws actually be showing here, what we did is we drilled down about maybe a 1/4 inch and then put our screw in and then filled it with these oak plugs here. So we just got these at Home Depot, and it kind of matches the wood close enough, and we put 4, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 down here that you can see. And we were just really particular with like really trying to have really good finishing work, if that makes sense, because that's where you can hide a lot of your mistakes and really kind of get that last 5-10% from the van. So we spent the extra time putting those oak plugs in, and now I'll just go over one last time, sand them down so they're really nice and smooth, and then throw a coat of polyurethane so they really blend in even better. But that way you don't have any screw heads or anything showing. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. You could have just ripped some screws in there, you would have got the job done the same exact way. But I just think this looks so much nicer. Super, super sleek. And now the final 2 things that we did, and which is probably my favorite thing so far about the van, is this shelf that you see right above my head, and that shelf right there. I absolutely love how this little shelf completely ties together both of the sides, and we literally maximize just about every single inch of this upper wall. But I think it looks better than just having cabinets straight down the wall with no sort of depth or separation to them. So we just built, again, out of oak, a little shelf there that's right next to that outlet. I don't know if it's going to be a charging station or something to kind of house all my coffee supplies, my Chemex, the beans, things like that. But I think it could kind of be a little bit of both. And the other one, which we just made last night, is this laptop holder, which I think is just so ingenious. And now the reason why I wanted to build this was I felt like, not only with my last van, but I even had a van before that in 2018, and the laptop is always such a hard thing to deal with and put somewhere where it's not getting damaged or not sliding off the bed or something and things like that. So I always wanted to have some sort of multi-function, but primarily a laptop sort of holder. So that's exactly what this is. We built it the same way, out of the same material, so it matches that shelf as well. So we put some foam down at the bottom. You can see down there, so this really just slides in. Then you're good to kind of leave it there. With these outlets here, you can just plug in and charge directly right down there. So that's kind of the idea. I had originally planned to put it up here above these outlets, but we actually kind of miscalculated, to be honest, and just couldn't get the swing enough that it would make sense. So we moved this one down here, and we're just gonna build a small shelf, kind of similar to this one, but just kind of its own shelf right here to kind of fill this space, and this whole, it's just really gonna tie all this together. So really, really stoked on this, and just the craftsmanship in here is a really, really top notch. Overall, I'm just so stoked with how this van has come together, and don't forget how this van looked when I first got it. So to take it from that to where it is now, I'm just, I'm really speechless. So if you guys have any questions or any concerns or any advice, please leave them below. I'd love to chat with you guys. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching me just talk here for episode 76, but I figured there was a lot of good stuff that I wanted to show you guys. So as always, thank you all for your support. Thank you for hanging in there with me, and I'll see all of you guys in the next episode. Take it easy, fam. Peace out. Whoop.